All right. Well, it just got easier than ever to launch outbound email campaigns thanks to Instantly's V2 of their Copilot, which is an insanely powerful AI that just helps you with lead lists, copy, and everything. So let me just show you what you can use it for. And I'm actually going to build a real campaign for a client of ours who is a UX and UI design agency. So this literally took me about 4 minutes in total to upload information about the business to Instantly AI Copilot, write the copy, add spin tags, build the lead list, use AI to verify that the lead lists are what we're looking for, and then actually build a campaign, update the settings, all the stuff that normally takes us like usually at least half a day to build a campaign and write the copy and all of that. So 4 minutes instead of 4 hours. That's pretty epic. So let me just walk you through a client of ours that we're building this for, so you can kind of have some background and how this actually like works in Instantly. So I'm gonna actually just build it in real time, and you can watch. So always when you're using, Instantly Copilot AI or any AI tool, you always just want to give a solid background for your business and just make sure it understands like who you're targeting, the offer, the messaging, all of that, right? You don't want it just to do its own research on the internet. You want to kind of give it just a little bit of background. So the cool thing about Instantly AI Copilot is that you can go into the settings, you can go into the memory, and you can have it read your website, or you can upload a PDF or text file. So typically what we'll do is we'll upload our client's onboarding questionnaire. When we take on a new client to run email campaigns with Instantly, we will have them fill out a questionnaire with information about their business, their target market, their social proof, their case studies, all of that. But if you're doing this for yourself, then you can just upload your website, or if you have any brand documents like a brand book or like a messaging and positioning document, you can upload that as well. But after you upload that, basically what I did here is I just uploaded it straight to Instantly into the Copilot just to help it refresh. And after the business background, the target audience, you can give it all the details around your target audience, job titles. It might be able to extrapolate this from your website, but it's just good to kind of make sure you have exactly what you want. But the cool thing about Instantly Copilot is that it'll actually ask you and verify that like the lead list filters in the copy before it does anything. So you'll see in the example that it'll stop me a few times to make sure it has exactly like the type of campaign and the type of leads that we want. So here's a couple of strategies that I had come up with, and these have worked really well for this client. So now we're just basically rebuilding them, but just much faster with Instantly Copilot. So one is a new marketing executive. So this business is a UX, UI, and design agency. Specifically, they work with SaaS companies to improve the product UX and UI, which helps with conversion rate, moving more people from free trials to actually paid customers, retention, all of that. And then they just offer some branding and creative and web support as well. But this is tough because it's a tricky niche, because people don't typically like overhaul their branding or their UX or their product design like very often, right? And it's very high ticket. Like a lot of our clients' projects are 6 figures. So, and it's competitive. There's obviously like a lot of agencies out there, and a lot that targets SaaS. So for this, we have to go with, more of like a very targeted and intent-based strategy. So we like to rely on triggers. Trigger means that instead of going for every company in the target market, you're finding a specific subset of the target market that has something happening in their business that might make them more likely to need your offer, right? And the cool thing is Instantly just does all of this within the in the super search feature, which is cool. So here's one campaign that's worked really well and has gotten us a lot of booked meetings in this very competitive niche, is a new marketing executive. So instead of targeting all CMOs to ask them if they want help with their product design, we're targeting someone recently hired. And this works pretty well across a lot of different industries. This is usually a campaign we'll run for like all of our clients, because, generally when someone steps into a new role, they're more likely to be open to like new vendors and new software solutions and just new things in general. Also, when someone joins a new company, especially if they're at the C-level, they have high expectations, right? They're really looking to kind of make a splash and make an impact in their first 90 days. So we've just found that it's easier to book meetings with people when they're new in the role. So this has been a pretty tried and true trigger. So that's kind of the thought process behind that one. Another good one is recently funded SaaS. Now this gets overused a lot, but it does still work. And if you have an offer that stands out, that really helps. And when I say that it's overused, it's because, a lot of people target companies that just got funding. So it's a little bit more competitive, but you can stand out with great messaging, which again, instantly makes it super easy to do. But this is great because, if a company has new funding, they're likely to spend a lot more on something like refreshing their product UI, improving the website, or even just doing like a rebrand in general. Like rebrand is expensive. And, if a company is tight on budget, they might not be prioritizing something that doesn't directly generate revenue. Like they might really just focus on using their marketing budget for lead generation campaigns or pay-per-click, right? Or like just running like ads that are more direct response. But if a company is flush with cash and they have a lot of money, then they might start to take action on some of those longer term marketing investments like a rebrand. So recently funded SaaS is definitely going to be the second campaign we'll launch here using Instantly. And the third campaign is you can actually target companies that based on their funding date. So most SaaS companies will usually get new funding every like 12 to 18 months. So in this campaign, we're going to actually target companies that have got funding 6 to 12 months ago, meaning that they're likely to raise funds again soon. And this is a different angle because this is less about, hey, we're going to get you more sales by optimizing your design, but we're going to get you more investor ready, right? So one of our client case studies is that they've helped a lot of SaaS companies with raising money, and they've helped them raise up to $150 million in venture capital. Because if you have a really awesome brand and really great product design, that's going to help you stand out more to investors. So branding and design doesn't just help you with getting more conversions. It also helps you with attracting better talent, and also with attracting more investors. So we're going to go with a different angle that's less sales related for campaign number 3. And we're going to try to find companies that are just approaching their fundraising date. So this would be a good thing to try. And, always like whenever we're launching cold email campaigns with Instantly, we always will have at least 3 different campaigns running at once. Sometimes we might have 6 to 8 campaigns running at once. And what we found that worked the best is just with cold email is testing a lot, because ultimately you can do all the research in the world, but you never know what's actually going to generate results, what's actually going to get you the most booked demos, right? And if you just change the list, if you change the copy, if you change the positioning, like in this case, using design to help you get funding versus using design to help you get more sales and leads, that can sometimes like double or triple the campaign results or even more, right? So I always recommend, running a lot of tests, and Instantly makes this really, really easy because you can run a lot of different copy tests with the AZ testing, a variant testing feature, but you can also just spin up a lot of new campaigns with Copilot as well pretty easily. So always test. Instantly gives you analytics on, what's working well and what's getting you the most replies and positive replies. So always good to just, run a lot of campaigns and just look back 2 weeks later and see what's working the best. So yeah, at a minimum, I always recommend having at least 3 different campaigns running, and usually let each campaign send to at least 1,000 contacts before you decide to keep it or not. Because if you only send it to 100 contacts or so, it's going to be a really small sample size, and you want to make sure you have enough data going through to make sure you have statistical significance, right? Because otherwise, it's really just luck if it's too early in the process, right? So that's pretty much our playbook. We'll always launch at least 3 different campaigns with different angles, different lists, different messaging. Wait till each campaign has at least 1,000 variations sent or 1,000 contacts sent, and then we'll kind of compare and contrast and push more volume to the campaigns that are getting us the most replies and, most importantly, the most demos. And also within each campaign, I always have at least 3 different copy variants in each campaign. So even though this is 3 campaigns here, we would have like ultimately 10 different tests running because we'd have 3 or 4 different versions of copy in each. So test, the more the better. And the thing is, normally like writing all these different A/B tests takes a lot of work. Like normally it would be like a couple of days for us to launch 3 different campaigns and write 3 different sequences with multiple variations at each step. But nowadays it's just so much easier because of AI like Instantly Copilot. So that's one thing I really like to focus on with AI. Like a lot of people see AI as a time-saving feature. And while AI does save time, I don't just use it just to be lazier or to be more efficient. Like we try to use it to just actually get a better result as well. So it's also about helping you be more effective because, again, like in the past, maybe we could only launch a couple of tests every 2 weeks because of our limited, time. But now because of the fact we can literally launch a new campaign in 4 minutes, we can just launch so many more tests more frequently and eventually find that winning campaign quicker. That's going to get us more demos. So that's one of the misconceptions I find about AI is most people just use it to save time, but actually you can use it to like make better marketing and test a lot more frequently just because it's so much easier, right? So those are the 3 campaign strategies. Now let's go into Instantly and see how this played out. So I just did this right before recording the video just so that it can kind of load fully and we can look at it all at once. But I just uploaded that prompt here into Copilot. And then you'll see here that it's not just like ChatGPT, like it's actually going to build things. So it's really an AI agent built into the platform, right? So it started to build a campaign, and within like 30 seconds here, it built a campaign, but then it stopped on the lead filters because it wanted to clarify a few things. And it's walking me through like what it's doing, which is really cool because I had a chance to like stop here and see if I wanted to change anything, right? So it had to retry it a few times. And then it found this many leads. So this is pretty good. This is exactly what I was looking for, the titles I wanted. And I don't have to go into any other different software tool, like everything's done within Instantly. So that's what I like about this Copilot feature. And just Instantly as a whole, it's really like the only all-in-one tool I've seen in the cold email space. Now here's one thing is the industry came up with is software and internet. And if you've ever tried targeting SaaS companies before with cold email, you know that like a lot of people that list their industry as software and internet aren't actually SaaS companies, right? They might be like a software development company or something else, right? Or even like a marketing agency, right? So that could be a little bit unreliable, but I was able to solve this within Copilot, and I'll show you how. So first, it created the campaign and the copy, which I'll look at in a second. Let's see how it came out. But basically, so I built the campaign, built the lead filters, it built a schedule. This is pretty solid schedule right here. Although I'll just go in and I'll tell it to add maybe like later times in the day and also weekends. Because if you're targeting founders at small businesses, weekends are we've still gotten meetings booked on weekends or gotten leads at least. So we usually leave weekends on if it's a small business founder. But anyways, because I'm unsure if these are going to be SaaS businesses, I'm going to have it use AI to actually check the website of all the leads and verify that they are an actual SaaS company offering software as a service and not a software development company. So now it's actually going in to include an AI enrichment column to analyze each lead's website and verify that they're SaaS companies and only add the verified SaaS companies to the list, which is pretty cool. And that's done using Super Search, which is pretty awesome. So now it's just waiting. Now I just had to wait a few minutes to actually enrich because enrichment doesn't just happen within like seconds. But while we're waiting, I'm working on other aspects of the campaign. So I asked it to add spin tags to the campaign so we can boost deliverability. So it's also doing that as well. Normally that would take us like usually 2 hours to add spin tags to a campaign, but now it's pretty much done pretty well and instantly, which is cool. And then also I'm thinking about testing on a lead magnet for the client. So the cool thing about this is like, you can also just use Copilot for research and brainstorming and ideas, similar to if you're just using ChatGPT, right? So it's not like it just, like I thought when this first came out, I thought it's just going to kind of like use Instantly for me and like build campaigns, which already would be pretty cool. But it also just functions like any other LLM. Like you can actually just use it to talk to it and do research and help you with campaign ideas in the first place. So I came up with a couple cool ones here. I would have to run these through the client, run these by our client before we build one. But I think this is the one that I like the most because it's really like tangible value and just something that will be pretty easy to deliver. And people always just like checklists compared to like a course or a webinar or something that takes time to go through. So love these, really like high impact and easy to consume lead magnets like checklists. Anyways, so cool to see that it can help with that too. And it even offered to actually build one of the lead magnets so it can create the campaign idea for it. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, I asked it to proceed with spin tags. Now it's just uploading the 10 leads. And I'm just going to verify that the 10 leads are good. And then I'm going to tell it to go out and build like a few thousand more leads into the lead list. And it's still waiting. But I told it to just go ahead and turn the campaign active when it's done, notify me, and then we'll get to work on campaign 2, which is pretty cool. So now let's go look at actually what it created. How did the copy come out when it's fully AI generated? So all the copy I've seen Instantly produce recently has been quite good with their AI because, what it's not doing, which is what ChatGPT and Claude do, is going to the internet and coming up with like researching cold email templates. The reason I've been really excited about this Copilot launch is because it's really using Instantly's proprietary data, right? Like Instantly has like hundreds of millions of cold emails sent by now, I'm sure. Maybe even into the billions. Because I know some people that just send a few million a month, like just as one user. But basically, like the reason it's cool to use Instantly to actually write the copy is because it's analyzing, like it knows what types of emails and what frameworks and what templates work the best. Because it's analyzing real campaigns from their users. So that's why like it's really cool to use something like this versus just go to, like, it's way better to do that and use Instantly Copilot versus go into ChatGPT and say, write me a cold email sequence. Because if you do that, it's going to go on like generic blog articles. They could be articles from like years ago that aren't really relevant anymore. So that's what I think a cool thing about this feature is. Hey, here's the copy. I can now edit it if I want to change anything or if I want to add to it. And I always recommend usually like we never just take AI copy and launch it as is. It's always good to give it like that human touch and look over it and make sure it's the way you like it. But honestly, even without making any like small edits or tweaks, this is pretty good. It's really short, really value driven. It references the trigger here of like the fact that the person just joined the company 90 days ago. So that's pretty cool. And it even wrote me a couple of tests. So that's pretty awesome. It didn't write the syntax yet, so I'm going to have to go into Copilot and just tell it to like remind it to do the syntax. But honestly, I could also just go here and just use the AI feature here and go for the AI syntax writer, and it'll just do it within a second. Preview it to make sure it looks good. And that's pretty solid. So yeah, that is launching a campaign from start to finish. Let me just check the schedule. All I actually have to do myself is just add a couple of email accounts. But everything else, the settings are all what it showed me. And it's pretty good to go. So all I would do now is just quickly check over the copy to see if there's any manual changes I want to make, connect my email addresses, and then I can pretty much launch it. So that is launching a campaign from start to finish in literally less than 4 minutes using Instantly AI Copilot. And they just released this pretty recently and it's already pretty good. So I'm excited to keep playing with it and see how much better it gets over time because knowing Instantly, they tend to just like update and improve their new features like pretty often. So excited to see where this goes from here. But if you have any questions, let me know below. If you're using Instantly Copilot or just AI in general to make your cold outreach campaigns more effective or more targeted, I'd love to hear what's working for you. And I'll make sure to post more videos like this if you guys like to see these, real life campaign builds. All right, cheers.